Hello and welcome to the Final Bell. It's great to have you with us for another week. Meg McDonald is with me as she is every single week. Hello, Meg.
Hey, Lingy. How you going?
Very well, thank you. You're looking fresh and fighting fit after a weekend camp away with the AFLW squad.
Yeah, it's always a really exciting part of the preseason, but there's no doubt that come the start of the following week, you're a little bit cooked. But had a great time, and I'm sure we'll get into all the ways we know each other better and challenged ourselves and became stronger as a team.
Well, that's a perfect tease because this week we're doing it a little bit differently, given there's no game to talk about. We're going to try and get through a heap of the listener questions. I know some weeks I say I want to get to as many as I can, and we maybe only get to 3 or 4. We're going to get to more this week. And I did see one of them, it relates to team bonding. So we might talk a little bit more about that camp in just a second. We're then obviously going to look forward to the huge game this Friday night, Geelong taking on Carlton at the MCG. A couple of events coming up. Hey, but before we do all of that, I noticed that when we're recording this in one of the boxes at GMHBA Stadium, we've got a bunch of merchandise on the desk here for those watching. Can obviously see this, but those listening, it's a bunch of stuff, and you're going to have to tell me about it. I believe it's the Scratch Project.
The Scratch Project, yeah, listeners will have seen it launched across our channels last night, but Shannon Neal, through I think his work with the, part of the academy in your first couple of years at the club, it's really encouraged to, explore your other interests and develop yourself off field. And I think he's, in partnership with Cotton On, gone and done some work and designed a range, which is really exciting. And I know everyone, I've seen a few samples around the corridors of the footy department recently, but it's hitting the shelves on Thursday, I think, for pre-sale, so 9 a.m.
Fantastic.
Have
I was just watching.
Do you like the crew?
Quick, yeah, that's nice. I was watching a quick clip on Instagram then that you guys just showed me, and Shannon talking about the fact that through the academy, encouraged through Shannon Burns and that to explore your other avenues. I mean, who knows how long your footy career lasts, and it's also good to have something else to be working on. And partnering up with Cotton On and getting that insight. It's a really good watch of what some of the players do outside of football. So I encourage you to jump on YouTube.
And I actually think it's inspired by your generation. Producer Jake's giving me the nod. Yeah, it's 07 to 11.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Oh, that's even cooler.
That's, you maybe get a bigger discount code if that's true.
I like that. So if anyone is interested, where do they get them? Catch up online?
Yeah. I think in person and online, but online drop 9 a.m. Thursday. It's the way to go.
Beautiful. And
tick. And shout out to Meg, part of Jake and my team, different Meg, who's really led that sort of digital stuff that you're talking about, and that sort of doco series that you can watch.
Yeah, encourage you to watch it, not just to see the range and what Scratch has been up to, but also just some of the extra work that goes into making players more whole, more complete as leaders, young men, and obviously wanting them to play great footy as well. So check it out. Which one have you got your eyes on, by the way?
I reckon the crew, and I think this T-shirt. I think it's important to note that we've got a lot of the greys here, but apparently they each come inverted. So if you want,
I want the navy blue.
If you want navy on grey or grey on navy,
gotcha.
That's what you can do.
There we go. Beautiful. Thank you for letting us know all about that.
I should get commission now. We've done well.
Now, well done to Scratch too for putting in that effort, and I'm not surprised too. I think I've told you the first time I was ever introduced to the academy there, and he just straight away came up, introduced himself, said g'day, had a chat. Every time I walk around here, and it's not that often, but he always comes up and talk, and just so engaging and such a quality person.
So he's a great person. Yeah.
Great that he's doing it. Righto, let's jump into some of these questions. I promised a whole bunch of questions. Let's get into as many as we possibly can. Some of them are going to be quick answers. Some of them we might need to dive a little bit deeper into. Okay, start off. What do we need to do? What do we need to work on going into the second half of the season? What's the big improvement area? Sydney Swans sit way out on top. Then there's a group from the team we're playing this Friday night in Carlton down to probably even 10th on the ladder right now, who can be the contenders to take on the Swans. And the Pies are building. Geelong start well, but have just been a little bit off more recently. Then you've got the Dogs starting to show a few signs. But if it's to be the Cats, what's the big area that they need to jump up in? Yeah,
well, I think you spoke last week about the sort of front half game and that sort of thing. I'll let you sort of go into the tactics side of things. But what first comes to mind to me is having the gears to alleviate or to sort of stop momentum. I feel like it's been a little bit of a hallmark of some of our games in the past couple of months, that really big rush of goals against. And then, yes, we've responded in a couple, thinking of the Port Adelaide game and those ones where we've come back or we started really well against Sydney. But I think as you mature into your season and you learn those gears and you learn what you're going to need, hopefully come finals, you need to be able to arrest, that's the word I was looking for, arrest momentum and not let that run of goals happen. So whether that's a leadership thing, or once we get, we've had a lot of rotating within the squad. Once we settle a little bit, how do we come together and stop that? Because I think about the last game against the Blues at the MCG, and they came home strong late. So I'd like to see a little less toing and froing of the momentum, if that's a sort of a broader thing. How about you?
And no, it's a good point you make, because ultimately the other team is going to have momentum in the game. Football is all about that. And turning perhaps that opposition momentum, and the game's just got a little bit chaotic for the Cats, and it's on the terms of the other team. Instead of it being a 4 or 5 goal momentum time period for the opposition, it becomes a 1 to 2 goal.
Yeah.
It's a game of footy. We're always going to concede some goals sometimes, but minimising that and then understanding, okay, let's wrestle it back to even terms for a portion of the game before they, and I use the word patiently, probably here, patiently turn it back on Geelong's terms. Yep. I wonder if at times we think, we should be able to just keep scoring ourselves here. Yeah. No, you can have an arm wrestle for a little bit. It can be a bit neutral for 5, 6, 8 minutes, and then you swing it back the other way and you capitalise on the momentum.
Yeah, that's from me. What about you?
No, I think I'm with you. I think as part of that, though, when you break it down, is how you play. I think it is very, very hard to stop that momentum, stop the game on your terms when you're really on the back foot. Yeah. So you're defending or trying to attack from deep in your defence and just constantly the pressure. The greatest defenders in the world still go back into their shell and you'd know this better than me, when the ball's just coming down and it's living there, you can't help but get a bit more reactive rather than proactive, and you can't turn things back onto your terms. So I think that it does come back a lot to that forward half and obviously through the middle of the ground, and some of that will be personnel and some of that will be development. But I think we can get there. I honestly do. I do see the Sydney Swans right now as absolutely clear, big gap of daylight. Yep. But I also look back to, not to say 2022 because of what the Cats did, but at round 10 or 11 of 2022, Melbourne had themselves out there and a huge bit of daylight. So it can close up towards the end of the season. So hope is not lost. Don't worry. Meg, best game you've ever played or seen is one of the questions here.
Best
ever played.
game.
Give me hang on. I'm going to give you, as long as you need, but a little moment in time to just have a brag. Can be any time in your career, juniors, seniors, whatever you want.
My 55-game career.
where have you just dominated?
Oh, my goodness. For a number of reasons, I feel like I go back to the first ever game here. I think I was actually relating it to a new teammate the other night. Until that point, I'd never been a sort of, I think, a lock in any team. But I came to the Cats and it was a new team, and throughout the course of that first preseason, I felt like I was definitely in and going to be a leader of the backline. And I remember getting asked by my parents in the sort of weeks before round 1, do you reckon you'll get a game? And I remember being like, yes, I'll get a game. But that was a really sort of fundamental shift in how I perceived myself as a player and the influence I could have. And then we had 18,000 here for the first ever Cats game, and I felt like I played pretty well. Nina Morrison probably got BOG, but I was close behind. So I think for a number of reasons I think of that game, but it's also proud of how I played in the Melbourne game 2 games ago. So bookending. Hopefully that's the new benchmark.
Yeah, plenty more to come too.
Unfortunately, when I get a lot of the ball, it often means that the ball's in the back half a bit, but that's okay.
You're sending it back the other way. It's funny you say that. You do need games, I think, at different points of your career where you just feel like, I played really well. I didn't just keep up. I actually massively influenced this game. I think back to one of the first times I ever played on Ben Cousins. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of those games where I was running with him, I limited him, and I got in the end and I think I kicked 3 goals.
How good,
Little
yeah.
brag, yeah. And it was just that feeling of, oh, okay, so I can try and stop this guy, but I can also kind of hurt him the other way if I'm smart with my decisions, and I belong a little bit more at this level and so early in my career, and that then fed. And don't worry, I had some horror games after it because it was still young and immature and that. But that was the moment where I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do this, which was really important.
Can I ask, you might have been asked this in your different roles, but obviously tagging's coming back into the conversation. How quickly did you go from stopping to stopping and hurting? Was that always the goal, was to challenge them the other way, or is the baseline just curve their influence?
No, it was always Bomber's goal. Bomber Thompson as coach. He was, I want you, and he would show me vision of the really good run with players. You know, even Adam Simpson, everyone forgets that he learnt and cut his teeth as a midfielder in North Melbourne before he became an A-grade star himself, doing run widths, and he would give me his tape in the early, so this is late 90s Adam Simpson, and they just won the flag in 99. He's like, here, watch this. Here's how he stopped this guy, a James Hird, say, or any one of those stars, but then also got the ball 20 times himself and started influencing an attack. He goes, I want you to watch this. You've got to play like this. And the first time Bomber gave me a run with role in a game, so I reckon it was my second season. I played VFL in the first game or two, came up, played against Port Adelaide. I remember playing on Josh Franco, who was a gun for those really good Port Adelaide teams. And I was so fixated on just stopping him. Yeah. I remember, and I can still clearly see it, I'm almost embarrassed to talk about it, like holding him off while one of his teammates basically come and picked up a ground ball that was sitting right next to me and ran away with it. And even I knew in my mind at the time, like, that's not right. If a good way of stopping that guy getting the ball is we'll just win it myself. Yeah. And Bomber said to me, he goes, nah, I'm just not going to have you play like that, and dropped me, quite rightly. Yeah. He said, no, until you learn how to get the balance between limiting that really good player and also joining in, you win that ground ball, for instance. You peel off and get a handball receive and run and create and set us up going forward as well. Until you get that right, he goes, you're just not going to be in this midfield. Yeah. So fortunately, I went back in the VFL and got a couple more different roles on really good senior VFL players at the time, and started getting that balance better and got another opportunity up. But yeah, Bomber just was refusing. He goes, I do not want a tagger who's just going to be a negative, and you get it 5 times and your opposition player gets it 15 times. He goes, no interest. So it kind of gave me that license to got to join in, got to play, which was cool. I loved that. It was better, much better way of playing.
We'll play this week on Sam Walsh, won't we?
Oh, look at some of the way they run these days. I think, how could I possibly keep up with any of them? Yeah. How do players usually go about the bye? Obviously, the Cats are just coming off the bye. What's the routine to relaxation ratio?
Well, we don't have buys, so I'm sort of all in for a hard, hopefully 13, 14 weeks and go. But by all reports, everyone went to play golf in Tasmania.
Yeah, well, it seems to be either go and play golf in Tassie or go somewhere really, really warm.
Yeah. Did you have buys?
Yeah, we had buys, yeah.
A few more these days, aren't there?
I was a total switch off and get away. There's no way I would have gone away, though, with teammates.
Yes, good point.
I love my teammates, absolutely adore my teammates. But at bye week, I wanted to get as far away from those teammates as I possibly could.
Was that always true, or was that more once you became a sort of leader in the team?
Super early in my career, let's say the first 5 or 6 years, there weren't buys.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But even from early on, I appreciated my own space and my own just get a breath to come back and be ready to go with the guys again. Yeah. I remember even one year, it might give you an insight into my crazy mind, but middle of winter is the buys. Yeah. I went down. Have you been down to Joanna, past Apollo Bay?
I have been. I had a long weekend there once. It was absolutely gorgeous.
One of the most gorgeous parts of the entire world. Middle of June
Oh my
slash
gosh, you surfed, didn't you?
July. I didn't end up surfing. I have Black Labrador. I've got one now, but I had one at the time as well. Stayed in a little cabin on like a 600-acre farm that allowed to take your dog along. And I just, for 3 days, hiked through the
This is great. I love this so
paddocks and
much.
through the bush, and that just with my dog. So
Yeah.
alone for 2 or 3 days just to get away from it all. No phone reception, nothing, complete switch off. So that almost this feeling of I could then come back to the footy club and go, let's go.
Yeah. I might have to look at Airbnbs there. I will say that the closest we've probably got to a buy is we've often had, or the past 2 years, had the Thursday night fixture before the men's grand final, which has then led to a sort of 10, 11-day break. We don't have one this year because we're fitting an extra game in, even though we do have that fixture. And what I don't think we got right last year was we had a really disappointing loss on that Thursday night. And I don't think we sort of tied it up enough post-game that it then lingered for the 4 days. So you're spending the first 4 days of what is your major break for the season stewing on this game and not sort of drawing a line through it or over it or saying, all right, we'll address this on Monday, on Tuesday. So I think the guys are getting seemingly better and better at doing that. So I'm sure disappointment in Sydney, but wipe it clear.
Switch your mind off
and
onto the next and
onto
the
the
big
next.
second half of the year. Yeah. Yep. I think you're right. Absolutely. Hey, this one we did touch on it right at the start. What pre-season activities do the teams do to build camaraderie and culture? Talk the camp you've just been on. Obviously there's a fitness component, there's a training component, there's all of that. But the importance of the stuff that you do around that, what sort of stuff you get up to?
Lots of teams have different philosophies on it. Some do that, hardcore, work you till you break kind of training camp. Ours was more we had a standard Saturday morning session out at Deakin Uni, and then we'd been split into random teams during the week, and then we went off and did the coach now PDM sort of organised an amazing race through Melbourne.
Oh, that's cool.
He's a Melburnian himself way back when, and so we got into our teams, went to the accommodation, and then set off for sort of 4 hours with a list of cryptic puzzles and sort of things to do. I think the big 100-pointer was see if you can get someone over a PA system to announce the AFLW season and give a go the Cats. So my team did our best to get on. We got up to the control room at Flinders Street Station, and ultimately they said no. But a different team got it announced at Southern Cross.
Oh, well done.
My fellow key defender Claudia Gunjaka got it announced on. I think they were on a tram. They got it announced on a tram, and she got a particular shout out. So it was all different things like that, and clues about getting photos at galleries and getting creative with how you provided evidence that you'd done the things. I ate a chicken foot in Chinatown, that sort of, and it's what's.
And how'd you go with that? Just out of interest?
I was all about it.
Okay.
I would say I'm quite what's the word, adventurous when it comes to my food, but that was the point. And the teams were random, and there was a really great array of activities and challenges that it meant. Different people put their hands up for different things, and you sort of lean into each other in a new and different way. And it's just about spending some quality time together with people in your team that you might not always spend a Saturday afternoon with. And I think it was really great. And then we had a beautiful dinner together and had a bit of a session on some of our, for want of a better word, values type session in the evening, and walked the town in the morning. It was great.
So it's fair to say these bonding sessions are far more cerebral than maybe years gone by where I've done crawl and
yes. No, I'm not gonna lie. I had a beautiful Pinot in the evening, but that was about it. No pub crawls.
No walking on hot coals like. Do you remember Nigel Smart back in the day?
None of that. Now that's a reference my young teammates wouldn't know about. I'll show them that and say, the chicken foot you got off lightly. Yeah,
this is the stuff that used to happen. Oh, that's fantastic. That sounds like a brilliant way to spend the weekend. And
so when we're challenged in a prelim final, I'll say, I had that chicken foot for you.
Yeah. Come on. Lift. I like it. Actually, continuing on, please, Meg. This one's for you.
Gosh.
Who have you been most excited about during the pre-season so far? Go Cats.
Go Cats. Of that question. Oh boy, these questions are hard. It's hard not to list the entire team, but I will give a particular shout out to Chloe Shear, who I would say is in the best shape of her career that I've seen. I don't know if she agrees, but from an outsider, and she's just dominating. She's the most naturally gifted footballer I think I've probably played with. I think she's just. We've got a new S&C in, or head of physical performance, and he saw her kick for the first time recently. He goes, I had to text 4 people about it. I didn't know she could do that. So she got a great kick, but then she sort of went into the midfield on the for a few clearances at training on the weekend, and I thought, you are going to have a season. So the entire team excites me because everyone's trying to improve, but I'm pumped for Chloe.
Apart from yourself, who's clearly one of my favourites, my other favourite.
Your Lingy?
Yes.
Lingy is still in Ireland.
In Ireland?
Yeah, so they drew on the weekend, I think, in a pretty important game. So they're trying to avoid relegation, but then also, I don't know, also not. When
is she due back here? She's
6 weeks, 5 weeks. She's 100% coming.
Cool,
They're very excited. I got some great voice notes the other day, but we had our fourth and final. Well, not. I think it's final. Irish arrive last week, who's staying with me for a couple of weeks, and her name's Kate Kenny, and she is another Irish redhead, which we love. We absolutely love.
This is so good. I mean, it's going to take a lot to replace Aisling for
me,
but
I know. I mean, her name's on your kids' tops, and
that's exactly right. Cool. That's fantastic. So going very, very well throughout the pre-season. Body's holding up all right. That's a question from me.
Body's holding up well. I'm enjoying the extra
feet,
Ks.
Knees.
I would say the entire team's got a new appreciation for recovery based on some of the running that we've been doing. But so far, so good. Probably didn't need to traipse 25,000 steps around Melbourne without my orthotics on, but you know what? That's okay.
Okay.
I say it on air, confident that I've recovered well.
Good. Excellent. Thank you to everyone who sent those questions in. I'm just conscious of time. I just looked at how long I've been talking for.
No, we'll ask you this one.
I want to get to my... okay, go.
No, this one. Could you also talk about playing Gaz for the first time after he went to the Gold Coast? And there was a photo submitted of you winning the toss.
Oh, so
how was that?
He didn't play in the first time we played them.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I'm testing my memory here.
Forgettable.
Jakey, you're going to need to... But he played in the second time we played them. That's the game at... Metricon. And I did win the toss. Jakey's just showing me a photo of me and Gaz tossing the coin. I thought we played them up there for the first time. Or did we play them here for the first time at GMHBA? Okay, Carmichael Hunt kicked the big goal. For some reason, I thought the first time we played them, he didn't play, and then, but it must have been the other way around. Perhaps. So I know this is really bad podcasting, me rambling, but it must have been.
Yeah, people are screaming at their phones, going, "Come on, this is what happened."
You got to remember. It must have been the second time we played them when it was down here, GMHBA Stadium. Gaz didn't play, perhaps. So memories. I do remember that at quarter time. The time we played them up at Metricon, that we were down, and Chris Scott, new coach, had been incredible through the preseason, really strong with his leadership, high quality with his tactics, calm, strong with his delivery, all of that, but had never given us a cook. I think he had a highly motivated group, didn't need to. We then got through the early games. That was the first time where Scotty got grumpy. He was, and he had every right to. They were a brand new team.
Put his apron on and gave you a cook.
Yep, absolutely. Let us have it for only like a little 20-second burst of just pretty much saying you boys need to pull your fingers out, and we got going. We ended up winning the game. But good memories. I hadn't seen that photo before. It's one I finally beat Gaz in. I know it was a toss of a coin. It's a 50-50, but I'll take it. Any win against Gaz. We better take a break, Meg. I want to get to maybe this game this week. But thank you to everyone who sent those questions in. Back soon.
Hi Cats fans, it's Joel Selwood here. Tickets now on sale for the Geelong Hall of Fame dinner. Join the club for an evening of celebration as Cameron Ling enters his name into history as the newest club legend. The evening will also see new Hall of Fame inductees and life members recognised. Head to the Geelong Cats website and check out the events page to book your tickets now.
Welcome back. It is great to have you with us on to the final bell. Let's look ahead towards the Geelong-Carlton game. Before we do, though, really quickly, our VFLW team will conclude their season this Saturday against the Bombers at Windy Hill, 2:30 p.m. for those that want to check that one out. And our VFL team, they're currently sitting second on the ladder with, it's an 8 wins in a row streak, isn't it?
A live streak.
Yeah, fantastic. They play Port Melbourne on Sunday at 2:05 p.m. If you want to check out either of those games.
Cats every day of the weekend.
Yeah, love it. If you want to check out the Friday night game, what are you going to expect? What are you going to do when you go along to the MCG? It seems like we just played them in what was an unbelievable game and crowd and atmosphere. The MCG, huge crowd and a great game. Carlton have been playing some good footy recently, and I know since that game, I understand the wins haven't quite followed for the Cats, but coming off the bye, just realigning, resetting where the Cats are going to go to. Where do the Cats win this one?
Where do the Cats win this one? Well, it's funny. I was looking at the stats. I mean, the comparisons pretty similar in terms of raw stats on the head to head, but I think I don't have the answer to this. Does Danger come back in?
I would say so. My feel was, and this is from afar and is not talking to anyone, I don't get little whispers here and there, I prefer not to know, it's a highly professional environment here at the Cats, that he was pretty close, or if not ready to go for the Swans. Smartly use the bye as an extra week, because Paddy Dangerfield having a big back half of the year and maybe into finals could really help the team. So I would assume it was that type of scenario, which would mean he's 100% ready to go for this one.
Yeah, so I think that will be great. I think we need to take, as you've spoken so well to, take the ball forward out of the middle and lock it in there a little bit more going forward. I think probably that last game at the MCG against the Blues, we got away with a bit of back half transition, scored well from turnover, but I think that turnover was in the back half of the ground, and we look great when we're cutting them up and our high forwards are streaming back to goal and Jazz kicks the sealer. But in terms of more consistent results, I think we need to sort of get a little bit more oomph, and match their physicality in the middle, because their midfield's just zinging at the moment.
It is zinging, and it's speak about physicality. It is big and strong.
It's big and strong.
Paddy Cripps, Hewitt, Kennedy, those guys as the big strong guys, and then Sam Walsh with his just constant run and link up and incredible play. Gives Harry Mackay and Charlie Curnow some really good looks at the footy. You're right. I feel like the last time we played against this team, albeit a fantastic game and just great to be there as part of that crowd, was one where it was high risk for us, because they were beating us through the middle of the ground, apart from when Paddy was going crazy in the middle and then unfortunately got hurt. They were beating us in the middle. We were turning the ball over really effectively, taking some fantastic intercept marks and counter-attacking. Yeah. I don't know if we really want to counter-attack or have to rely on counter-attacking like that this week.
Absolutely. And, I mean, that was probably pre all this, they're putting someone deliberately on Tom Stewart. I don't know if it'll be interesting to see if the Blues choose to do that, considering how well they're going. But that our ability to sort of create that team defence, hold structure, and have, whether it is Stewie or it's Guthrie, or as we've noted repeatedly, any one of our defenders can play that sort of interceptor role. But you don't want them to be under that sort of pressure, because I think we've seen in recent weeks that when the ball's coming in the way it has been, even the best, as you said earlier in the pod, can't go with them. So
it becomes every game's important as you head into the back half of the season, but it's a huge run of games. And you think about the clubs that we're playing over the next month. They are arguably probably Richmond, who aren't performing as well on the field, but as far as big clubs go, some of the biggest clubs in the entire game.
And then not the little ones, but the ones that you might have penciled in, Hawthorn. Yeah, certainly not anymore. They're playing great footy.
No, so that's the next time we're back here in Geelong, isn't it? That's the 4:35 game in 3 weeks' time.
3 weeks.
Does that sound right?
We go Carlton, Essendon, Hawthorn, Collingwood. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. That's right. Obviously, 3 of those at the MCG and one of them here. So a really huge month of football for the Cats. I know, as I always say on the podcast, check the health updates.
Yep.
The way that through any of the club channels, social media, or on the website for this one. Are we expecting anyone else? Have you heard?
I couldn't even tell you who didn't. Oh yeah, Garth. My goodness, that'd be great.
Ollie Henry.
Ollie Henry, Garth, Danger in. Again, we're playing everyone, but
Yep.
they were significant factors again. Last time we played the Blue, it was Garth's first game back, right?
Yes, it was. He started with that little hanger. Yeah,
little hanger. That'd be really nice. I haven't heard on that front, but I think we're looking. I mean, you've got your Jack Bowes, and Tanner Bruin. Congrats to Tanner on his new contract. I don't know if we've said that. We probably have. Who've really stepped up in their absence, but it never hurts to have, 2 match-winning midfielders back out there.
Certainly doesn't. So check the health update because we're not exactly sure, but hopefully, we think Paddy, but hopefully 1 or 2 of the others might as well. Just on this, obviously 4 huge games coming up, as I mentioned. It's not too late for memberships, is it?
It certainly is not.
No. What's the one you want to get a hold of?
The Melbourne ticket bundle. I think you get 6 tickets, home and away games in Victoria, and you can just swap them around however you'd like to. So jump on those ones. That's probably the best way to get to the MCG and to that Hawthorn one back down here. But I know listeners will remember we broke the record for our home game attendance against Carlton.
Against Carlton, that's
the
right.
Essendon game will be a Cats home game. So I think, that's a as we said, that's a big one again. So
with these 6 tickets, if you just pick and you go, I want to go to the Bombers game, you can take, you and 5 mates can just go to that one.
Mates,
or you can spread it across the other games.
Or you can spread it across, you can go yourself, one of each.
Nice.
That's the way to go. And I think, when you start to looking towards, hopefully, priority finals, access and all that sort of stuff that comes with the membership as well.
Very good. That's the best way to barrack for the Cats.
And by the way, just throw your little AFLW membership on there while you're at it. Just a little click add-on.
Very good. Do that. $25, is it? If you add it on?
Yes, it is.
$25.
Do you know what? I didn't even check the notes for that one. I just threw it in there. But yeah, $25. As I say, and I'll just keep saying it, we're actually very proud to have led the league as AFLW membership and match day experience and attendance. And I think we're promising to grow on field. So to continue to lead would be awesome off it. So sign on up, everyone.
Sounds good. I can't wait for this Friday night. It will be an incredible game of football.
Saturday night.
I must admit, I also do have one eye looking forward to Saturday night. I've had to cancel my Channel 7 commitments. I was supposed to be doing a game. That game was Melbourne and North Melbourne, so I'm kind of wrapped with the choice that I get to now have. Harry Taylor's coming over from WA.
Yep.
I can't wait to see Big H. Travi Varco, who we spoke to last week, will be there. Chris Scott, of course, the coach, will be there. The life members are going to be included. I do have my 3 kids and my mum and dad and my brother and my sister all coming along. We're all going to be sitting on the table. For those of you who do come along to the Hall of Fame night on Saturday night here at GMHBA Stadium, the really noisy table with the kids running amok, that will be my table. And please, just give me this leeway for this one Saturday night. Good. Don't judge my parenting on how bored and disruptive my kids are.
I don't think they will. They get around your highlights, don't they?
Yeah, I am trying to sow the seed with Carly, Carly Flakemore, who's obviously a big part of running the events and has been here for a long, long time. Brilliant person at the footy club. About getting the lights on out on the ground.
Oh, just send them out.
And then when my kids are running amok and annoying the hell out of everyone, I just want to send them out for a kick of the footy out on the oval and just ignore them for a couple of hours.
Well, I'll be there and I won't be partaking in the beverages. So you just let me know and I'll come in.
Ah, good. You can
I'll
put them through a training drill for me.
Yeah, that's no worries.
Are you not partaking in the beverages because you're training the next morning?
I'm just training in general. I will have trained that day. Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to being there, and I think no commitments. So just a great night. Had a great night 2 years ago. It'd be a pleasure to see you get celebrated. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Meg. Tickets
Nicole. Shout out Nicole.
Yes, she'll
be there. I'm going to introduce myself.
She just texted me before and said, "I've got 3 dresses I'm choosing from."
Oh.
I'm like, Okay, sure. We didn't buy all three of these, did we? Are these just existing dresses?
I must say I've got a package arriving today. Very excited.
Tickets are still available for those
Yes.
who'd love to come along. It'd be great to have you there. Be a fantastic night. As I said, I'm obviously absolutely honoured for my part of it, but also some incredible other people who are being recognised and rewarded for their phenomenal careers, and in Chris Scott's case, a career that is still progressing very, very well. There'll be silent auction items.
Yes, you don't have to be there at the game for that one. I think the auction is now open, so if you want to jump on, we've got signed Guernseys, experiences such as coach's box. Get on in there.
So there is one of them is you can be in the AFLW coach's box.
Yeah,
so
I've just seen that.
If you want the experience of just maybe suggesting to Dan Lowther that
That Meg
Meg's off. Get her off.
Oh, I thought
Get her off the
I
ground.
thought Meg was getting swung forward. Then.
Oh, now I feel nasty.
No, that's fine.
There's some wonderful experiences. I think the team photo experience too, the official team photo for 2025, all those different things.
Patrick Dangerfield's 2021 match-worn Guernsey. Great.
Yeah, so anyone who wants to jump on that, so you can do that online now, Meg, is that correct?
You can do that online now. Get on there. But better to do it in person.
Yeah.
Buy a ticket to the event.
Come along to the night and enjoy the night. Enjoy Friday night as well. Enjoy the footy right across the weekend. As I said, VFL, VFLW, the AFL. There's going to be heaps of footy.
Yeah.
We will be back next week to talk about all of that.
Yep.
I will see
I'm
you.
seeing Missy Higgins on Sunday night too, guys. What a weekend.
What a weekend. Cats and Blues. Hopefully the Cats win.
Training. Hall of Fame. Missy.
Where's Missy playing?
The Palais.
Oh, awesome. I love Missy Higgins. Another insight. So here's another insight to me. Me driving to the game. I used to drive
Scar special too.
Yep. Sound of White.
Okay, so sorry. You finish and then I'll tell you. No, I'm just going to say this is actually the Sound of White anniversary tour.
Yes, it is. It is.
I'm very excited.
I used to drive by myself to the Melbourne games because I didn't want to have to talk to anyone. And I just wanted to play my music. And my music was a combination of Simon and Garfunkel,
How good.
Xavier Rudd, and Missy Higgins driving to the Melbourne games.
Good.
And used to crank it up too, like loud. This is pre-podcast, so I'd like to listen to podcast now. It was all about that sort of music for me.
I'll never forget.
Fire up music.
Oh my gosh. I'll never forget being at home. I was still at school at the time, and I think it was Dad was driving my sisters home, and I was at home alone for whatever reason, and I was going for it on the vocals. Like absolutely.
Missy vocals.
Missy just was getting blasted. And so much so that I didn't realise they'd arrived home. And anyone who knows me, karaoke is my idea of hell. Like I can't do it. But I was alone. So anyway, shout out Missy. Not the most exciting part of the weekend, but
no, but a great weekend.
I'm glad we have another
for
thing
you.
in common. How
yes. I'll see you Saturday night at the
See
Hall
you
of
there.
Fame dinner. Enjoy Friday night. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Hi Cats fans, it's Tom Hawkins here. Tickets are now on sale for the Geelong Cats Hall of Fame dinner. Join the club for an evening of celebration as Cameron Ling etches his name in history as the newest club legend. The evening will also see the newest Hall of Fame inductees and life members recognised. Head to Geelong Cats website to check out the events page to book your tickets.